Okay, so just sit down. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you for your name and where you or your family is from.
Okay.
But there's a twist. It has to be en español. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
Mi nombre es Alberto Arbelo. Nací en Venezuela.
Okay. Mi nombre es Stacy de Armas y mi familia son de Cuba.
Me llamo Alejandro Furt, soy originalmente de Caracas, Venezuela.
Hola, me llamo Lolita LOPEZ y soy de Caguas, Puerto Rico.
Mi nombre es Mario Díaz, soy de Puerto Rico, mi familia es de Puerto Rico.
When was the last time you saw a Latino on TV or in a movie?
As a matter of fact, the last time I saw a Latino in a film was yesterday. I went to the San Diego Latino Film Festival and I watched a movie called Zama, which is directed by an Argentine woman, Mateo, who's very well known. But I'm going to just say that that's probably not the experience of just a regular, typical moviegoer who goes to a multiplex to see a film.
The last time I saw a Latino on a TV or movie was actually watching One Day at a Time, a new show that, at least new to me, on Netflix. And it's an old show from the 1970s that I remember actually watching with my brother, who's 10 years older than me. But the entire cast is Latino, and I thought it was really interesting because I remembered the show growing up and what I knew about it and sort of the trials and tribulations that family went through. And it's very similar, but with the Latino twist.
More recently as this week, the caveat is that I do have to seek out that content and find it too. It's not generally pushed at me through traditional media. It is hard to find good representation in traditional media.
Usually, Latinos are are exactly the opposite of heroes in films and in Hollywood.
So, as a child, did you ever have a role model in American TV or in the movies that was Latino?
El Chapulín Colorado.
Rita Moreno.
Andy Garcia.
Zorro.
West Side Story with Rita Moreno was, I'm going to break into song right now, but I'm going to withhold, I'm going to restrain myself.
You know, I grew up in Puerto Rico, so we did have, I saw my people on TV. But when I came here, those were few and far between. I can't think right off the top of my head of a Latin person who was embedded in American culture in the same way that, like, the aforementioned Chapulín Colorado, El Chavo del Ocho. I grew up with many really fun personalities who were in charge of or who had shows that were geared towards children. That was really great, but not so much here.
I grew up watching her in West Side Story, just seeing her pop up everywhere. I come from a slightly revolutionary family. Everything we do, we fight for. So I understood what it meant to fight for what I needed to do and to be present and ask for things and fight against any sort of discrimination if I ever felt it in my workplace. But from her I learned kindness and grace and being able to do that so that you can be taken seriously as you're forging a path.
Andy Garcia was the first guy that I saw in a movie and blew my mind. And in the beginning I wasn't sure. See, this whole thing about Latinos I didn't really understand until I moved to New York. I grew up in Venezuela, and then I get here and I start to understand that there are stereotypes. When I first saw Andy Garcia, he just played a normal human being. He was Latino.
How do you think the situation with Latinos will improve?
By us creating our own world, and by stepping away, ourselves, from the stereotype, because we're very good at saying we're a stereotype, but then you'll find movies written by Latinos, acted by Latinos, and they're all in the ghetto, and they're all selling drugs, and we're all shooting each other, and that's created by us. So if we want that to change, We need to produce, and we need to take chances. We need to tell stories and have it questioned. Oh, is this Latino enough? I'm like, what does that mean? If you tell a good story, it doesn't matter, you know, what the color of the person in front of that screen is. And that's what we should strive for.
I think really the main way that Latinos will get fair representation in Hollywood is if the, you know, quote unquote gatekeepers begin to understand that there is a, you know, a wide spectrum of people that would love to go to the movies, to the local multiplex, and see films about Latino people, and see brown faces on the screen. I think that's super important. I also think that the quality of those films is also essential. You know, you don't want to just put a brown face up on the screen. You want to make sure that that film is something that connects to audiences and gets people excited about, you know, about what they're seeing.
I think it's a couple of things, but taking it personally, I think that it's if you're in a position to do work, that you have to remember to always ask, why not me? If there is an investigative reporter position opening, that just happened to me recently. I just got this new position at our station, and when they were looking around and asking for others, they were like, well, this person's been an investigative journalist in this place, and this person comes from, you know, Washington, D.C. And so I went in the room and I said, why not me? I already do all the research. I know this community. I am bilingual, so I'm able to, you know, get into the room with more people in our community, and I'm good at my job. And so not feeling like you have to wait for someone to come to you, but go to them and ask. I think that's one of the things that we need to do.
I mean, it's been proven by the quality of the products Latinos has been, bringing to the industry recently. In the last 5 years, 3 Latino directors and 3 Latino films have won Best Film. I mean, those films are there, and those directors are there just because of the quality of what they are. It's just not because they are Latinos. It's because what they're doing is excellent. Is better than the other films. I mean, and can it be because they are Latinos? Has to be because they're good, and because they understand the audience and the thirst of the audience, and that's the only way to do it.
So what I think is going to happen is through the strength of our youth, of the youth of the U.S. Hispanic market, like you, and those right around your age group, you're going to improve and increase representation. You're going to stand up and stand with and stand for the rest of the community. And I think there is nothing but brighter days ahead. Certainly politically, economically, and within media.
Great. That's it.
Good. There you go.